passion as a mental health therapist when I knew that my motivation was to understand human motivation. I was so fascinated by that. And that took me into a deep dive in the mental health world, and I learned a lot around theories in Western countries, theories in Eastern countries, theories in more indigenous countries or practices, as well as evidence-based tools. Nowadays, mindfulness that comes more from Eastern psychological philosophies. And that naturally took me down another rabbit hole, which is, okay, if I'm looking at all these different perspectives on how to address human motivation, it made me start questioning another thing, which is how to get life right. You know, there's so many different perspectives in life, so many different viewpoints, so many different belief systems, so many different cultural norms and practices. So how do you figure out what's right in this world, especially in our day and age when we have access to so many cultures and so much information? And I found some overlap between the teachings of Jesus and some Buddhist teachings around karma, actually, believe it or not. And one of the quotes that really stood out to me and how it works with Buddhist teachings is the quote from Luke 6:27 to 28 that says, from Jesus, that says, "But to you who are listening, I say, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you." Okay, I'm sure right in the beginning that doesn't make sense of how that works with karma or how to get life right. When I first read that, it actually gave me a lot of relief because I felt like, oh my gosh, Jesus just gave a formula to life, you know, like a life formula. In order to stop something that you don't like, you neutralize it with the equal and opposite energy. And that's the same concept of karma, of like, karma is a mirror to you. So whatever you put out there is what's going to come back. Another very famous biblical quote is, "What you sow, you shall reap." That wasn't specifically from Jesus, but it's still a part of the biblical teachings. So this concept of what you put out there is what's going to come back is a law of life. It's an actual law. And once you start to recognize how true it is and start practicing it in your own life, then it will give you the motivation to want to do good to your enemies, love your enemies, pray for those who abuse you, bless those who curse you, because you're choosing to bring blessings, love, prayer, and peace in your life. You're not going to resort down to how the other person is showing up. A Buddhist saying is, how someone treats you is their karma, and how you respond to them is yours. So that's what I mean when I say it goes back to the concept of karma and what Jesus was teaching so strongly. And at the end of the day, what it's doing is it's just bringing peace to the equation. Because, historically, or the teachings were eye for an eye, and he's saying, well, hey, let's try something different, right? And it's the same thing as choosing not to escalate an argument. This is a great concept for couples to learn. And I often teach this to couples or people who are in really oppressive situations, to how to neutralize the experience and get out of that area of conflict. So let's use like a couple's example. When one person in the relationship feels misunderstood, hurt, or slighted, if they end up becoming retaliatory and showing up like the other person, they are first abandoning themselves. And second of all, they are adding to the problem. If someone yells at you, yelling back doesn't resolve the problem. But if someone yells at you and you just stay silent, or you take a pause, or you take a break, that neutralizes the problem. It keeps it from escalating. And that's the whole point. The teachings of Jesus just comes down to peace. And the point of this channel is to show you a pathway to peace. So that's one example Now, also in the context of a relationship, you know, if someone is abusing you, the teachings of Jesus doesn't say like, hey, sit there and take it, right? But it does say pray for them. And I actually did this myself. I tried it out. I gave it a fair chance. I was like, you know what? Let me see what this does. There was a person who was harassing me, and I wanted to protect myself, or I wanted to fight back. And I was like, okay, this is an opportunity to work on my spiritual teachings and see how they incorporate with my own mental health. And I actually literally chose to pray for the person. I really did, and I did it from the bottom of my heart, and I found a genuine place of love in my heart, and prayed for their well-being. Because, you know, I'm sure you've heard the concept of hurt people, meme bombing you with that right now. And that was really the case here. You know, this person was clearly hurting, and the only way that they were able to communicate that was to hurt me, right? Or to bother me. And when I genuinely prayed for this person, it wasn't this like, okay, fine, I'll try it, whatever, right? I found this place in my heart, this peaceful, expansive place in my heart to pray for this person and pray for their well-being and whatever's causing them to act the way that they are, for them to overcome it. I give you my word, as God is my witness, they went away. And that's what I love about these timeless teachings of Jesus. They actually work, but it does require for it to be a genuine process. That part's really important, that it was a genuine point of prayer and forgiveness and overcoming and letting go and wishing this person well, wishing that they wake up from whatever like unconscious pain point that they're in, so they stop hurting and they stop hurting other people, right? And it really worked, and I was impressed by that. And then on top of that, I also learned that not only does it have to be genuine, but also the role of energy. And that helped me understand why karma is taught in so many different ways, in so many different belief systems, or going into Newtonian physics. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. These are all talking about energies. It's neutralizing an energy. And if we look at emotions and feelings, emotions can also be dubbed as energy in motion, E-motion. So it's actually just helping you to neutralize your own energy, to bring yourself back to a place of peace, not to have to go to an external source like going to like binge eat or have a drink or use your pharmaceutical or recreational drugs or have to talk to someone about it to feel better. All of those have their place, but not as a way to cope with difficult situations in life. When you can change inside of yourself, inside your own mind, inside your own heart, inside of your own way of being, your world reflects that. And it's a super cool thing. And if you haven't experienced it, I give you an invitation to try it out. Just be curious. Just be genuinely curious, but give it a real chance. And if you have had an experience like that, I'd love to hear all about it. Go ahead and let me know in the comment box your experience with neutralizing difficult or negative energy. And I'd love to get back to you and just hear how it played out with you. I love reading your comments, so please go ahead and leave them. And thank you so much for hanging out with me while I'm making my smoothie. I'm gonna get really loud, so I'm gonna sign off in a second. You don't need to hear it grinding, but I really hope and pray and wish that peace be with you. Until next time.